Hi, I'm John, and I've got MDS. I was diagnosed last April, and since then I've made a lot of changes, both to my lifestyle, diet, and who knows whether it's making a difference. But I'd like to share with you what I've been up to, and I know I'm always interested in the way others are approaching this very difficult disease, and I'm one of the lucky ones where it's not high risk. So obviously every case is very different, but I thought I'd share what I'm up to. So I was diagnosed last April with MDS, ring sideroblasts, and multilineage dysplasia, 2% blasts, and greater than 15% ring sideroblasts. I had another biopsy quite recently, which wasn't sufficient to give them quite so much detail, but the oncologist was pretty confident that he felt that I was now low risk, whereas last year they were talking about intermediate risk. So something's changed. I've got to dig into that a bit more, but I'm quite happy that they've put me more in the low category now. So I have a web page which I update every month, showing my particular trends of my blood markers, and obviously the three important ones are hemoglobin, neutrophils, and platelets. And my hemoglobin has deteriorated over the year, but kind of plateaued down around the 100 mark until it dived in March, early March, down to 87. I still felt okay, but this was a bit scary. It's since recovered. Now, I did get COVID in February, so that's possibly a reason for this to change. Neutrophils generally are not too out of range. For American viewers, we tend to talk in grams per litre, so we're out by a factor of 10 on the hemoglobin number. You would talk about 9.9. We say 99. Let's call the whole thing off. So neutrophils, I'm around about the 2, so right at the low end, but and it has been down, up and down, but actually not too bad. The platelets, though, have gone from sort of excess platelets over a year ago, dropping steadily all the way through, and now they're technically, this is red, it's down below the recommended 150. The oncologist thinks this may plateau, so again, yeah, I suffer a little bit from bruising now, but nothing too bad at the moment. So those are obviously the three main ones that we're tracking, and I track those every month. But the thing I want to talk about is all these weird and wonderful supplements I've been doing. I've also been doing acupuncture now, traditional Chinese acupuncture, 30-minute sessions twice a week. Twice a month. Probably the biggest lifestyle changes, I've stopped drinking alcohol. I mean, I used to drink 60 units a week minimum, and a unit is like a small half pint of beer, or a small glass of wine. So that was pretty bad, and now I'm well under 14 units a week. My weight dropped, and that might be because of the drop in alcohol, from typically 11 stone 3 down to 10. I'm pretty steady now, around the 10 stone 4. So that's 144 pounds, I guess. Blood pressure as well has improved, and whenever I check it, it's always around this sort of 117 over 75, high 70s. In summary, I'm less fatigued than I was a year ago. I have fewer night sweats than a year ago. I still do get them occasionally, but not quite as severe. And I do get, ever since November, I've had this kind of tingling, cold feeling in my fingers, kind of Raynaud's effect, usually sort of in the morning. Okay, so that's where I'm at. Let me talk a bit about all the diet changes. I've mentioned the alcohol. That's probably one of the biggest things. In the video I'm going to show, you'll see all the different types of traditional Chinese medicines that I'm taking, and they're going to be listed in the description, so I won't go through them here, but they kind of sequence through the day and are separated in time, and I'll talk about that. So yeah, up until a year ago, I was like I say, having 3 pints of beer and a couple of glasses of red wine with dinner. It was lovely, but far too much, really. I'd always have orange juice first thing in the morning. I'd have chocolate biscuits in between meals, last thing at night. That's all stopped in terms of added sugar. I do 16-hour fasting, so that means there's only an 8-hour window that I eat everything, and during that time I eat pretty much what I want. So 11:30 is when I start with this kind of late breakfast, which I'll go through, and we'll talk about that. Followed very soon after by lunch. So that's it's a bit time consuming, but that's during this 8-hour window I'll have normal tea with milk. I may occasionally have an actual beer or one glass of wine. And then the type of main meals that we typically have. Obviously, now and then we're going out, and perhaps I'll just have a nice steak or something. But our typical food is quite vegetarian. Probably half the time, homemade quiches, salads. Perhaps once a week, a takeaway curry, baked fish a couple of times a week, maybe a roast chicken, occasionally beef. Eating out, I mentioned, which I don't worry too much, and I'm really not consciously cutting down on carbohydrates particularly, but obviously go very easy on chips and things like that. We do eat a lot of corn. My advisor on all these Chinese supplements says actually corn is not good because it causes dampness apparently. Tofu is much better, which I just can't stand. So anyway, there's more things to try, I guess, in the future. But the key thing is I'm avoiding pretty much most added sugars. I'll occasionally have, a chocolate or a sweet if we're eating out, but mostly avoiding anything like that and ultra-processed foods. So just going through the day, first thing at 10:30 is IP6 Gold, which I take separately because it's, I think, is more effective on its own. So I do this half an hour before anything else. So you don't need to be too religious about the exact timing, but have a gap. So I have this first. It's a bit chalky, doesn't taste of anything really. Then a half an hour or so later is the main bulk of all these things that I've lined up here, and you can see in the description. So we start with the reishi spore powder, and everything I've converted into teaspoons because these people talk in all sorts of different measurements, weights and so on. So just a good old standard spoon. So I've got quite good at estimating. So that first one was a level spoon of reishi. Now we have, I think it's like 1.7 of the Coriolis, and then just a tiny amount of this one, which alternates each week, but roughly half to 2/3 of a teaspoon of this cordyceps extract. There we go. I empty them from sachets into these jam jars. I just find it easier. So in goes the cordyceps. Next up is the, what is this one? The astragalus, and that's 1.7 teaspoons. It's mostly 1 to 2 teaspoons at most things. This one's lion's mane, 1.7. So a good heap one, especially if it's sort of powdery and sticks together, is probably about 1.7. This is hey shoo woo. This is a tiny one, between a third and half. So that all goes in to make this lovely concoction, which I just add some water and mix it all up. It really doesn't want to mix very easily, but I slug that down, and then finally there's 2 of these reishi alcohol tablets or capsules to finish. So then half an hour later it's breakfast time, and there's just one thing to have: a ubiquinol capsule a few minutes before eating. So I have one of those, and yeah, by now I'm sort of feeling fairly hungry, but it's not too bad really. So the breakfast starting up is some rolled oats, a handful of walnuts. I've moved over to organic stuff wherever possible. Then whole almonds, a handful or so of those. Then flaxseed or linseed, which comes again organic, and then you grind it. I do like 2 days worth at a time, which is about 2/3 of what this grinder holds, and then just put that out. And then lots of berries, so it depends on what you can get, but you know, raspberries, blueberries. I do try and wash them, but don't always if I'm in a hurry. I don't know what people think about that. And then strawberries. Today there was no blackberries, very expensive off season, but basically those are the berries that I've homed in on. So some bits of strawberry as well. Not really sure if strawberry is a berry, but it's tasty anyway. So that's it. And then I just put skimmed milk all over it all, and then plough through it. And yeah, it's because of the fruit. It's quite tasty. I have to do vitamin D at the same time. I think it's good to have vitamin D with food, so I have 4,000 vitamin D units, and every other day I have a zinc just for good luck, and so one of those, and then vitamin C, two of those. So that's it. That's the daily breakfast. And then a whole kiwi every day and a whole orange, so again boosting vitamin C. So then mid-afternoon, so lunch comes, and then but later on, away from meals, this alkalizing blend, apparently it's better to have that away from the other supplements. This, I think, just changes your basic pH a bit. This stuff is not that pleasant. Again, it's hard to sort of make a suspension when you mix up with water. I've been adding turmeric. This is really just based on the thought that this might help minimise the effect of any sort of spike protein problems. Yeah, just a few comments on lunch, which again, you sort of get into a routine, and sometimes my lunch follows straight on after the breakfast, depending on juggling between other things going on. But I'll have, 1 or 2 slices of sourdough bread, often toasted, butter, cheese, cheddars, softer cheeses sometimes, apple, banana, a few grapes, more, a pear or half a pear, a cup of tea. Like I say, don't don't worry too much about dairy, and obviously got to keep your protein up. So I think other people try dropping that, try dropping carbohydrates. There's all these ketonic diets. I mean, there's loads more things we can try, but obviously, if you keep changing too many things, you never know what's helping. I still haven't got a clue whether this stuff's helping me, apart from I feel great, I feel positive, and I think keeping positive is so important. They're finding that more and more, I'm sure. So this is my positive way of sort of living with this MDS thing, and I hope this is useful to others. Do let me know, have your comments, and a big thank you to all the members of the various MDS Facebook groups for the wonderful information that people share and encouragement that they give to each other. Thanks for watching.